Welcome, everyone. I love these calls, the Behind the Science call, our second Monday of the month, where we actually get to learn from a nutritional expert, which I'll interview here in a few minutes. My name is Tina D'Angelo. I'm a I've been here 2.5 years. I absolutely love this company. I'm actually a medical professional with 23 years of experience in a hospital setting. And I still continue to work in my profession part-time. Yes, there you are.
Yes, I am. Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you? Would you
I'm
like
great.
me to, great. Would you like me to give you a little introduction, or would you like to introduce yourself?
You do it.
Okay. Well,
I can do it, but I'll go on and on.
Okay, well, this is what I have on you so far, so just fill in where you need to. Mary Esther Gilbert wrote a 500-page book called Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. It has over 100 proven botanicals. It's actually a nutritional health guide that we use that includes most of the botanicals in our drops. She spent almost 1.5 years of research that went into developing her book, and I think you're going to talk a little bit about that at the end. She's a nutritional physiologist and a sports nutritionist. She has a bachelor's in nutritional science, a master's in holistic nutrition, and she's been in the field for 40 years. So I know she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to a lot of these botanicals that we use in our own products here at APLGO. So we're super excited to have you. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Oh, it's a lifelong endeavor of learning, right? And once you get the bug, you find out what you're passionate about. It doesn't feel like work. I mean, I'll spend hours and hours working on books and such. I'm working on 2 books right now, but there's a never-ending amount of knowledge to be shared, and I'm constantly amazed at, compared to the knowledge of the world of what's been discovered about the human body and our nutritional physiology. It feels like my knowledge is so minute compared to the vast amount of knowledge. I just can't wait to, continue to learn as much as I can and just continue sharing this knowledge. It's really life-saving knowledge.
I agree. And I can't wait to learn more about this drop in particular, which actually leads us to one of the first questions I have is, of course, BTY, our BTY lozenge, short for beauty, has the most botanicals of all the lozenge drops we have. I think there's about 20 different ones in the proprietary blend. Based on your knowledge, why so many in this particular drop?
Well, I've always said to people, the more variety of foods you put in your body, the better chance it has to find the right molecule combination to fix whatever needs fixing. And the body's constantly in search of the right stuff. So I'm glad to see more botanicals in these formulations so that the body has more to choose from. So every botanical contributes their own unique set of phytochemical compounds. Sometimes they have the same compounds, but they're in different molecular forms, and they're in different combinations with other phytochemical compounds. So it has a better, effect on the body when there's more there to choose from. So, a lot of these compounds do so much to improve the microcirculation, delivery of nutrients and oxygen, and to keep the cells hydrated. Those 3 things are the most important thing for healthy skin, hair, and nails, and to just improve the circulatory system and stimulate the immune system and the hormonal system to all patrol the whole entire system all the time and keep things going and keep things in check before something goes wrong. So that's what I love about the drops. There's so many different phytochemical compounds in the drops. And also, each botanical has its own variety of unique DNA or genetic codes of gene sequences, that our body cells can use to repair their own DNA and normalize all their functions. So, they do things like keep the blood vessels clear of plaques. And I'm quoting from my own book, actually, because there's so much extensive scientific research. And I'm talking about peer-reviewed studies that are known throughout the world in the scientific community as the most credible information one can get about the botanicals. on any subject really, but in this case, the botanicals. So they do things like keep blood vessels clear of plaques, and they keep the lymph nodes and the lymph vessels clear of the plaques and accumulations of the synthetic pollutants that we can't help, being exposed to all the time, no matter how hard we try. It can help carry oxygen and nutrients for better energy production, just clear the brain fog, clear thinking, balanced hormones. It's all related. And to bind molecularly at the molecular level to synthetic chemicals that allows them to escape the body's tissues, particularly the fatty acids like the brain, the nerve cell coatings, stored fat cells, and under the skin and in the liver. So I can go on and on.
Yes, and this one has so many great botanicals, right? Like there's 20 different ones, the chamomile, the ashwagandha, the ginseng, of course, the wild strawberry. Are there any one in particular? I know we don't have time to go through them all, but are there any particular ones in the BTY drop that make it so unique and special to what it actually does?
Well, I could go over them, but let me give you a summary so that, if we need to go over them individually, we can do that. But basically, what these amazing plants do is every single one of these I found helps reduce inflammation, and, they help normalize the acid-alkaline balance, brings the body pH back to normal. So if you're too acidic, then you're going to be in an inflammatory state and pain and inflammation, that kind of thing. If you're too alkaline, it can have the opposite effect where you're feeling sick and sluggish and things just don't work right when there's too high of an alkaline. It could be very toxic. So, these botanicals in these drops in the BTY help bring the body back to normal ranges so you feel great. And also, these compounds help eliminate the microorganisms that cause infections, especially in the urinary and reproductive areas. I noticed a lot of these compounds in these particular botanicals in this formulation have been shown to do that. And also the science has shown that it improves the hormones that govern the reproductive system and actually can improve libido because of all the different compounds that act on the hormonal system, and also have been shown to improve energy levels, which compels more movement and increased circulation in the body, aids digestion, increases blood cells and the hemoglobin, which is the oxygen-carrying substance in the blood. And also, these compounds have been shown to increase muscle endurance, cardiorespiratory capacity. They help normalize blood glucose or sugar-regulating functions with the pancreas and the liver. They help normalize how the body's organs process and utilize fats, and improves the cholesterol balance. So, and also normalizing the heart and blood vessel, the cellular functions to improve blood flow, and normalizing the water balance in the urinary system, and therefore helping to normalize blood pressure. And these are just some of the very few tip of the iceberg kind of information that these botanicals have. So when I did my research on each individual botanical, I found that it seemed a little bit redundant. But then I found that the different compounds in these different plants do different things too, So when I looked at the scientific literature, the peer-reviewed studies, I found that they had pulled out so many different studies from different scientific groups, scientists all over the world over time, and that's the best way to get an idea whether something is credible about a botanical or not, right? So all these high quality studies have come up with pretty much the same information on these botanicals. So it's really exciting.
I love that. We really do have something so special, like you said, especially in this nanoparticle DNA form. So I know particularly with the BTY lozenge, because it's supposed to support healthy hair and skin, and really does what they call nutracosmetic, which I'm hearing is Europeans' biggest beauty secret, right? Because it literally makes you beautiful from the inside out. Can you talk to what a nutracosmetic is, what that term means?
Yeah, it's been around a little while. It's not that new. It's not that old. It's been around a while, especially in Europe. But it's also referred to as cosmeceuticals. And all that means is that it's something topical that you apply to the body. And the organic products are better, if, and anything can be called nutracosmetic or nutraceutical. But if it's not organic, then there could be some toxic compounds that actually cause the skin cells to degrade and degenerate. And that doesn't look good at the macro scale, reflects in how your skin looks. So it's really a term that was invented by the beauty industry. It sounds great, and it probably generates millions, trillions of dollars in sales all over the world. But what bothers me is that the beauty industry is allowed to make misleading claims about their products that the supplements industry can't make. And so, I mean, a beauty product can say, oh, it cures, this condition on the skin, or, it's prescribed by doctors or whatever. So they use these terms that are coveted by the medical industrial complex, but the supplements industry is kind of shut out from that because it's probably just very competitive. Well, people just don't make good customers kind of thing. But a lot of companies that produce non-toxic beauty products or use isolated nutrients or the botanicals or their botanical extracts in their formulations have very limited delivery internally. The skin has so many different layers, right? 3 different layers and other tissues before it's allowed access into any cell through the cell membrane inside the universe inside of the cell. So really these products, even if they contain the botanicals that are organic and whatnot, they don't get very far. And that's a good thing because our skin is one of the largest organs in the body, and it's a very protective organ. It doesn't allow a lot of toxins to go through the skin. So basically what they do is these nutrient factors, in the formulations, they'll alter the appearance of the skin's upper layers, which is just the top layers of the skin, and they're gentle cleansers. They're non-oily moisturizers, some of them, and they just improve the skin texture of the cells that are already sloughing off. They're already being replaced underneath the surface with new cells. So, you can improve the skin's appearance only as far as the antioxidant content that could destroy bacteria or fungi that causes topical skin problems. And then the nutracosmetic products may also contain fillers and preservatives that may be retained in the tissues and do long-term cell damage unless it's an all-organic product, like I said. And then over time, nutracosmetics ingredients begin to chemically degrade, no matter how good the product is. I mean, they could put in natural, preservatives in there, but some companies don't. They use the chemical preservatives and they start degrading over time. They're forming free radicals or cell damaging molecules, So the APL lozenges are a nutritional supplement, not a nutracosmetic. I have to come to that conclusion.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And like you said, skin is the largest organ that we have, right? It's made up of all those cells. So it does make a difference getting that direct to cell nutrition, especially when we're trying to improve our skin by using a drop like this. So BTY is obviously used for natural beauty and radiance from the inside out. So we're a society, right? That we're always searching for anti-aging vitamins and supplements, right? And I think you kind of spoke to this a little bit, but how does our unique blend with the 20 different botanicals and our assay technology, how does it help with this anti-aging area?
Okay, so anti-aging, that's a huge, heavy subject. I could give days and days of webinars on this subject, but basically, you have to nourish from the inside out. You have to nourish at the microscopic level, and because that's where it's at. That's where water gets absorbed and utilized and cleanses and detoxifies. That's where nutrients come in and do their work to regenerate our cells. And our cells are constantly turning over and creating new cells. So we have to duplicate that genetic code that in the DNA to make sure nothing gets mutated, nothing goes wrong, so that when the new cell starts getting formed, we have to transcribe what's in the mother cell to the newly forming cell. And the more accurate that is, the longer you prolong the youthful process of looking younger, right? So someone who doesn't take care of their body, doesn't provide the right nutrients, it just starts degenerating. And at the surface, at the macro level, then you've got a lot of wrinkles, really old skin, blotchy skin, and of course a host of other health problems. But yeah, pretty much. We're made out of collagen. I know that was one of the questions. Did you want to go into that question now, or?
Yes, actually, we can definitely talk about that because I know collagen's kind of all the rage right now, and there's a lot of choices of confusion. I heard there's like 5 different types of collagen. But like, according to our BTY drop, which ones do our drops address, or how does it help with our own natural collagen production?
Okay, so collagen is a protein, and if the body is not receiving the right types of protein, in other words, a food that contains all of the 8 essential amino acids that build proteins. Our body is mostly protein. Every single cell, every single structure, a lot of our body fluids, they contain protein. So in order to maintain all of that, we have to take in those 8 essential amino acids, and they're not present in plants all in one place. They're present in animal-derived products, food sources. So when we take in animal-derived food sources, we're getting all 8 essential amino acids. And so our body's able to go to work and regenerate those cells and, create new cells and improve the immune system function and all the things that require protein. So, and a lot of times when people call a plant a protein, they're talking about a particular amino acid because plants don't contain all 8 essential amino acids. So a plant is only a partial protein, or an incomplete protein is what it's called. So, but collagen is the connective tissue, the cartilage, the ligaments, the tendons, the organs, blood vessels, bones, all these different muscle structures. All of that animal tissue goes into the collagen products, supplements. And actually, there's only about 3 types. A lot of companies have, they call their type 4 when actually it's the same, from the same animals, beef and chicken or egg membranes, the bones and the fish, cartilage from fish also. So all of these are the collagen sources. Sometimes a company will produce only type 1, which is the beef, the bone broth, the eggshell membranes. And type 2 companies will exclusively use chicken, the bone broth from the chicken. Or type 3 will contain all 3, including fish. So basically there's really 3. And I've seen how companies label it type 4 or type X, and whatnot, but they're just making it up because it's basically the same as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can tell. So, like I said, the body produces its own collagen after eating these foods. And, when you simmer the animal food source in a pot with some vegetables or whatever, make a stew, right? Then a lot of these tissues are dissolved into the liquid. So these are very, very, extremely good for maintaining your own structures as well. So that's my take on collagen and the different types.
Okay, thank you. So, I saw some really quick results personally. I know we have all different experiences using our product, quicker than I normally see. Do you know why our BTY lozenge in particular seems to work more quickly on the hair and skin versus, taking in these supplements using our slow, sluggish digestive system? Can you speak to why we may possibly see results quicker in some of those areas?
Yeah, basically, we're talking about the microcirculatory system and the delivery of nutrients. So as we know that the drops immediately get absorbed through the mucosal cell membranes in the mouth. They enter the cell membranes at the micro level, and they just go to work to do the repairs, So, and also added with a healthy diet full of vitamins and minerals and high water content foods and the fiber and all that kind of thing to exercise our sluggish, digestive system, then it all comes together to just repair what needs repairing at the DNA level, where everything happens. Your health depends on how organized your gene codes are at the DNA level, and the plants are utilized by our DNA. We utilize their DNA, their sequences of genes, and so we make our bodies can splice in and do the repair work that way as well. So we can replace whole segments of gene code that's been damaged when the body determines that, hey, a plant comes along and it has those particular sequences in the right order of those gene codes. So it readily just splices it in and utilizes it. That's how compatible plants are to our bodies. They're extremely compatible that way. So anything that needs repairing, whether it's hair or skin or any other tissue in the body, that's how it's done. So also the protein generating endoplasmic reticulum organelles in the botanicals, they contain information that's easily used in our own cells as well. And in fact, since they're made out of protein and, the body needs protein readily and it sees a protein molecule, it will disassemble it into the right combination of amino acids to build another tissue that it needs right away. So it has this whole hierarchy. It's always monitoring. It's always repurposing, always fixing, detoxifying and destroying cells that are no longer useful, that are damaged. And so, helps the body eliminate them that way, or just repurposes them, breaks them down to the minute amino acid or carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen kind of elements, and then uses it again. Our body's very resourceful that way. And then cell turnover rates for the skin and the hair follicles, they're about 28 to 40 days. So, get on a healthy, kick right now and start fixing the skin and the hair. And you can also grow new hair follicles if you have exposure to sunlight, if you exercise to increase that microcirculation that feeds those tissues and those tiny blood vessels underneath the hair follicles. And so all that needs to be nourished and stimulated into growth that way. Sunlight is also important to produce that hormone like, vitamin D3 or cholecalciferol. And that also is important for stimulating hair growth. So that's why people who are always out in the sun, you're not going to see a lot of bald people, people who have alopecia or hair loss if they're out in the sun a lot.
That's interesting. And as far as since we don't have the proteins from animal product, someone asked the question of when we're taking in these botanicals, how does it help our cells produce through botanicals like the collagen and all the things we need for the healthy hair, the healthy skin, the stronger nails? How does that work from a plant form?
Yeah, see, unfortunately, all the years of research that I've done and all the clients who were vegans, especially vegetarians, not so much, but people who stuck to only plant foods, eventually their bodies start catabolizing or cannibalizing their own tissues. And the first tissues that are sacrificed are the connective tissues. So those are not health threatening. The body doesn't dip into the heart muscle or the kidneys or the liver, or any of the vital organs, or the brain. It will dip into the muscles, the bone tissue, the connective tissues, the blood, and that kind of thing. So a person becomes anemic. They become, they have stress fractures when they try to exercise because their connective tissues are weakened or diminished. Pretty soon you've got bone on bone kind of thing when the cartilage is gone. So that can all be prevented if you take in animal-derived proteins. Those are the only things that the research has shown that will regenerate those kinds of tissues and prevent that kind of problem. So, and it also is the cell structure. Our trillions of tiny little microscopic cells, we need those 8 essential amino acids that only are present all together all at once from animal-derived sources. So if you try to be a vegetarian or a vegan, chances are you won't get enough of those amino acids to rebuild this entire system. This entire system requires those 8 essentials to be present at every meal. So if any one amino acid is missing, then this whole cascade of biochemical reactions that your body does to maintain itself, all of its systems, it'll come to a halt. So if this happens a lot over time, then you're going to have a degenerative condition, So as much as I wish we could all be vegetarians or vegans, we're not built that way, and I can take it to whoever wants to debate me on this. I've studied this, and also having been back in the 80s, I was a bodybuilder, and I was lifting tremendously heavy weights, more than my body weight, and running all the time, and over the years, I haven't stopped running. I'm 68 years old and I don't have any joint issues because I've been eating the animal-derived proteins to maintain those connective tissues. And the athletes that I've worked with also, a lot of them just retire early because they don't replenish, they're not eating enough of the animal-derived proteins. And so their joints start degenerating and then they retire early. They cannot continue with their exercise or if they're professional with their athletic careers and that kind of thing. So I've seen this over and over again. I've worked with ballerinas, I've worked with martial artists and people who are into the track and field sports. So I've seen the whole gamut, the kinds of workouts that people have to do. But if you're not eating and replenishing those 8 essential amino acids that are all present in animal-derived foods, then you will start degrading your own tissues, and your body will go in and eat itself in order to protect the more vital organs.
Interesting. So back to our healthy skin and hair, because this is why we love the BTY drop so much, and why they called it BTY, short for beauty. Of course, we have all those different botanicals, and I've seen amazing results. My friends, my family, people tell me all the time, Tina, what are you doing? You're looking younger and younger, which, give me all the compliments you want, because I love these amazing products. But besides the healthy skin, hair, nails, the things that we normally see from taking this drop, what other benefits, because we have those 20 different botanical blends in there, what other benefits could BTY be offering our body besides the obvious ones?
What I like about some of these botanicals in the formulation is that they help the body detoxify from the synthetic accumulation of synthetic chemicals, the pollutants that we pick up in the air, in the water, and any kind of product that you might use that has synthetic chemicals in it. So these phytochemical compounds will bind molecularly to these molecules and help your body eliminate them, or donate electrons. That's very important. When a healthy cell has all of its proteins and electrons and neutrons all intact and it's just going to town, just orbiting, and it's just energy active, right? But if something comes along and steals one of those electrons, then that renders the cell damaged, and it starts breaking down, or if it tries to replicate itself, that can cause mutations in the DNA, which lead to cancer or other degenerative, problems. So it's important to eat these wonderful drops because they have those extra electrons that are put in at the factory, with this simulated electrical storm, where these plant materials pick up extra electrons in their orbitals. So a plant material can, at the atomic level, have an abundance of electrons, can carry a lot of electrons. So it's got plenty to donate to all these free radicals or, illness-causing substances or invasive microorganisms that make their way into the body. So that's what I like about that. So let's see, they have been known to act on their own to destroy a lot of the microorganisms that make us sick, the anaerobic bacteria, the ones that survive in a low oxygen environment. That's why exercise is so important, to keep your cells oxygenated, to destroy those bacteria. Also fungi, they don't like oxygen either. They've been known to destroy fungi and different viruses, and also they're very good about eliminating these micro parasitic organisms that are, we've got large parasites that people can see, but there are microscopic organisms that also make us very sick. So these act on their own. The immune system doesn't even have to participate. If those plant chemicals are present in the body, then they are the secondary metabolites, they're called, to just destroy and disable, a lot of these things. And a lot of science has shown that these compounds have also been known to disable cancers, So of course, I'm not making any medical claims. We're not medical doctors, but the science is very clear, and it's been shown over and over again over many, many studies, peer-reviewed studies that pick out the best, most credible studies all over the world, not just in the US, but and over time, so that shows you that you can be pretty confident that these phytochemical compounds in the drops are very effective for protecting the body and helping the immune system. I like the way they assist in the development of cells. We do need the animal-derived proteins, especially the collagen, because that's what the cells are composed of, collagen and cholesterol and all these animal-derived sources. But they also have these phytochemical compounds also have a role in helping to build new cells and also to help support the structures. Fatty acids, for instance, in plant foods are very important for helping the structure of our cell membranes and inside the cells. So, there's a lot of little tiny skeletal structures inside our tiny trillions of cells as well. So all this needs maintenance, right? So like I said, the BTY has, it's a superstar when it comes to providing those kinds of nutrient factors.
I love that. And I think we have a little bit of time. We kind of went through most of the questions. Are there some of the botanicals you can pick out in particular and kind of speak to those? Because there are so much goodness in here. And I know when we're taking it, we're seeing and feeling some of those benefits. This one in particular does take, like you said, a little longer to see results because of what it's targeting. But can you pick out some of the botanicals in there and just speak to those for a few minutes?
Yeah, so let's do the detox ones. I like the milk thistle seed. That's really, let me go to the document here so I can read it. So I'm going right off the book. So like I said, they've got all these activities that, the milk thistle. So it has all these activities that are antioxidants. In other words, it has all these electrons that donate to, just neutralize all these free radicals. And they also has been found to protect the liver, help the liver eliminate a lot of the toxins. The liver is the organ that collects all of the toxins in the body. Sometimes they get accumulated in the fatty tissues as well, and that includes the cerebrospinal fluids, the membranes of the brain cells, and also all these different fats that are in the body. They also tend to accumulate these toxins. So the milk thistle is really good about getting to those and binding to those synthetics and getting them out of the body, especially the liver. And so, there's all these phytonutrients like apigenin, betaine, flavonoligands, and silibonol. And, I've got them all in the book, but I haven't committed them all to memory. But but the milk thistle has this specific phytochemical that's called silymarin, and it's used to treat various forms of liver diseases in other countries. Like degenerative necrosis or liver cell death, alcohol cirrhosis, scarring of the liver in alcoholics or non-alcoholic cirrhosis, viral hepatitis, which is a virus, inflammation that causes inflammation, liver inflammation. So it also improves the serum bilirubin. So as you see, some babies, they're born with that yellowish, skin color because their livers haven't completely detoxified the accumulation of the bilirubin. So this helps, clear that from the liver. So, I'm just picking and choosing as I go down the list because it's quite extensive here. But basically, I really like that one for how it cleanses the liver, basically. So let me go back to another one here. And I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling.
Are there anyone in particular that maybe is the main contributor to the skin, less wrinkles, better hair? I mean, there's some good ones in here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's take the aloe. Aloe is a superstar when it comes to removing toxins. I mean, you can't have good skin unless you are daily, your body is, normally doing its detox processes. So all these synthetics and all these toxins, all the wrong foods, they just destroy your cells, including in your skin. It shows in your skin, right? So I like the aloe because it's very soothing. You can use it topically, and also you can eat it. You can take it in. You can drink it. All kinds of things. It's used for burns and any kind of skin condition like seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis, erythema, the raised bumps on the skin, and skin abrasions. So I really like the aloe and what it does inside and out. It will soothe the inside of the gastrointestinal lining. If anyone has an ulcer or somehow has been damaged by eating very caustic foods or whatever, whatever happens in the gastrointestinal system, a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can damage it. Then the aloe vera has compounds that helps, improve that. But topically, it's wonderful. It's just a good all-around topical and internal food to eat, and antimicrobial, antiviral, all those other wonderful things that all plants have. So when you're clean on the inside and everything is functioning and your circulation is going well, nutrients are being delivered, oxygen and water, all that contributes to healthy skin. So you've got to do all of the above, and there's not one botanical on earth that will do all of that for you. But in combination like this, they're very, very powerful.
I love it. And I'm looking at the botanicals. I mean, there's a lot of foods we ingest, the avocado, the grape, the strawberry. I mean, we eat those. We know that they're amazing for our bodies, but getting them in this nanoparticle form, like direct to cell, I can only imagine how it's helping internally from that standpoint. Like avocados in particular are full of omegas, right? The good fats. I'm sure they're also helping a lot when it comes to our skin and hair as well.
Oh yeah, we can jump to that really quick here. So again, all these different phytochemical compounds, luteins, zeaxanthin, cryptozanthin, all these plant sterols. Plant sterols are all the precursors to the 10,000 or so hormones that regulate the body, start and stop all these processes to maintain the structure of our cells, which translates into healthy skin and hair. So that's very good for that. And again, it eliminates toxins from the liver. It's also great for cardiovascular health. Like you said, the fatty acids, they promote the healthy blood lipid profiles, and they enhance the absorbability and utilization of fat so that you don't tend to store it, and cause gain weight, but your body will use it for energy. It'll distribute it where it's needed and do all the repairs. It'll create the hormones that it needs. And it also aids in proper blood coagulation. So if you cut yourself or you get a scrape or something, how your body just forms the clots and the scab. And it goes to work and starts doing the repair work underneath the scab. And when it's ready to, just let go of the scab, it will just come off. But so, yeah, you don't want blood to coagulate in the wrong way inside of a damaged blood vessel where it starts forming plaques and it does damage to the blood vessel and creates clots that way because it's damaged, as the body does that for all damage, right? But then if that clot breaks loose and creates the embolism, it gets mobile, it can land and obstruct any kind of circulatory pathway and create strokes or heart attacks. So it's important to keep the blood vessels clear, which means flexible and pliable blood vessels and circulatory system, just clear highways, throughout the whole circulatory system to make sure that everything goes through and nothing gets stuck. Nothing forms plaques on the inside of the blood vessels. So that's what avocado helps do. Again, I keep talking about the microcell level, but we don't have healthy skin or hair or youthful behaving cells without all these nutrients. And so once you take care of the inside, then you'll automatically have great skin, and more youthful skin, more bouncy skin, and less sagging. But of course, we're genetically programmed to age. And so, but we can prolong that aging process, and we can, maintain youthful cells, even if there are signs of aging, kind of thing.
I love it. So we could actually just finish with maybe you just talking about your book for a few minutes. And then I was given the go-ahead that maybe we could share just a couple testimonials from our guests tonight on using BTY. We could probably do that at the end since we probably will have a little bit of time. So Mary, can you tell us about your book?
Absolutely. May I share the screen? It's easier just to give you a visual of this. Okay, let's do that real quick, and then I'll end that screen share. Okay, you should be able to see that page here.
Yes.
You see the picture of the book cover?
Yes.
Okay, so basically it just contains detailed monographs of 109 botanicals, including all of the botanicals that are in the drops. And I listed all of the botanicals that are in the BTY, so all those are in the book. And you'll see these in parentheses. These are the worldwide standard for the names of very particular plants. So everything has a scientific name based in Latin. And so you can recognize plants by their scientific name as well. Sometimes that's how they're listed on like naturopathic or homeopathic remedies, or even on supplements. So you'll be able to tell them, but the common names are also there. So this is where you can get the book. You can go to my website and order it through the website. Just go to holisticchoices.com and then click on the tab that says Books by Mary Esther Gilbert. Or you can go straight to Amazon, and the link to Amazon, I can provide that to everyone. And that's pretty much it, and this is kind of how I describe the book, so you'll be able to see how it's described. But yeah, it's 531 pages long. It used to be over 600 pages long, but I found out that Amazon doesn't allow anyone to publish books that are over 500 pages. So I really had to do a lot of work I use smaller font, and I just had to really cut down, and it took me another couple of weeks to do that. But I finally got the book out there, and I get really good reviews. People I don't even know on Amazon are rating it 5 stars. I'm so thrilled about that. I'm so appreciative, considering. But yeah, it has, it's not just the botanicals of the 109 monographs of the 109 botanicals. It also has a complete compendium of terms, kind of like a hybrid of a dictionary encyclopedia that defines all the terms that are in the book, so that if you run across a term that is scientific and you're not familiar with it, you can look it up in the book. Also, it has, there must be over 1,000 scientific citations of everything that I list in the book. So every every monograph has the citation notations in the text, so that you can look at the back of the book and look up that particular peer-reviewed study and just do your own research and continue on and read all about how the scientists gathered the data and evaluated all these different studies and, just summarized it for you. So that's what's exciting about peer-reviewed studies. If you go into these individual studies, you'll get lost in their highly technical, jargon and how they explain how they arrived at their conclusion. And that's a whole scientific process, all these different biochemicals and all these different methodologies they use to come to their scientific conclusion. So that can take years. So I was really grateful when I did the research that there are peer-reviewed studies that the panels of experts do that kind of thing for you. So it's all listed in that book as well. There's a nutrition section that tells you what nutrients do for the body, what the 8 essential amino acids do for the body. So it's pretty complete nutritional, volume, as well as botanical reference guide.
Yes, that's super helpful. So I want to open it up to a few testimonials. Thank you so much for that, Mary. Esther, I love your book, by the way. I've got it right here on my table, actually. It's kind of like our go-to for APLGO.
That's good.
As I don't want to get us backtracked before we share a couple testimonials, but we did have a lot of people in particular that wanted just a little bit more clarification on if the botanicals or how they help with our own natural collagen production. Does that make sense? I know there's all the different kinds that we can take internally, but how do the botanicals help with our natural collagen?
Okay, the nutrient factors in the drops play a role in helping the body build new collagen, but fundamentally, we need animal-derived products in order to have all those amino acids present all at once to build our own collagen and the firm structure of our cells, which means firmer, younger-looking skin. So, really all of it combined helps have beautiful skin and hair that's actively growing and shiny and healthy-looking and all that. So, that's pretty much it. I know people just want so much that to have plants help you build collagen, but it's a very indirect way of building collagen. They don't directly, because they're lacking a lot of those essential amino acids. Plants can have some of those essential amino acids, but not all at once. And our bodies, that's the only way they'll build new tissues, is having all of them there. And the only way to get them is from eating animal-derived proteins. Yeah. So quality proteins, organically grown animals that have been raised humanely, that lead happy, healthy lives. And so, unfortunately, that's how our bodies are built. I wish they weren't. I'd love to be a vegetarian. I give thanks every time I sit down and I see, the meats on my plate, and I just give reference to these wonderful animals that make our body strong, but we do need the plant kingdom just as much. And so that's where, a healthy diet, 50 to 75% raw, fresh foods, organic foods to avoid the herbicides and pesticides and other pollutants, and a wonderful supplement that's so absorbable, like the drops.
Yeah. Well, you can't overdo nutrients, right? Like all the things are going to help with anti-aging and skin and hair and all the things and wrinkles, right? So thank you so much, Mary Esther, for being here tonight and giving us your level of expertise. I think we all learned a bunch. I know I did. I always do. I love to hear about all this amazing direct-to-cell nutrition and how we're just feeding ourselves with these amazing lozenge drops that we have here at APLGO. I think we have a few minutes. I don't know if there's anyone that wants to raise their hand.
Please do. I love the Q&As.
You're welcome.
I love Q&As.
I know they're so good when you have all the questions, right? The burning questions.
Yes.
Is there any guests with us tonight that would love to share a little bit about maybe what you are experiencing with our BTY lozenge drop? You might have to raise your hand so I can unmute you. Let me scroll. So, Deborah, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Can you unmute, Deborah?
I can indeed. I have a testimonial on beauty for myself. It took about a box and a half, but what was pretty miraculous for me was it actually stopped my skin tags altogether from growing. I actually don't have skin tags anymore, where I used to have them constantly on the neck and the chest area, and now I don't have any. So that's really great because I no longer have to go to my dermatologist and have him remove anything. So that's one thing that's been pretty amazing with the BTY. But the other thing, it's funny because I keep hearing about the collagen aspect, and I'm wondering then, because I noticed that walking up and down my stairs, my knees no longer crack like they're rocking chairs. And I was wondering if that was actually due to beauty, because I tend to take beauty and power for women mostly. And I was thinking that would be the reason, because of the collagen then maybe.
I'd like to answer that. May I do that?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Deborah.
Hello.
So a lot of these compounds are anti-inflammatory. They reduce the inflammation. And so they, like I said, the phytonutrients in these botanicals, they contribute toward the healing process. A person can eat, meats and still have arthritis and still have knee joint problems because of the acidity that it causes. So you have to have the plant kingdom mixed in there so that it balances the pH, the acid alkaline balance. So people who eat only plant foods are more alkaline. People who eat predominantly meats are going to be more acidic and in inflammatory condition. So apparently you filled in the gap of what the body needed in order to reduce that pain and inflammation.
Thank you so much, Mary. I swear every time I get on here, such a worth of knowledge.
Oh, I'm so glad to share it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Deborah, for that. And thank you, Mary Esther, for helping us understand a little bit more. I think we have time for one more. Kevin Katu, do you have an experience with BTY?
I do. And actually, this one is kind of a topic that hasn't even been covered tonight. So a while ago, I overheard Kelly say that for him, when he goes to sleep, relax isn't enough, and that he takes a beauty with the relax. And I found relax wasn't enough for me as well. So I did the same. And I found that the beauty and the relax combined not only helped me sleep the entire night, it knocked me out even faster. And I have no problem falling asleep. It was like my head hit the pillow, I was out. Sometimes I'd even feel sleepy and almost falling asleep with them still in my mouth as I prepare to go to bed. So can you speak to why maybe that synergy is like that, if you know, or is that just one of the oddities of the synergies of all the botanicals?
Good question.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the aloe leaf, the apple, the ashwagandha root, the chamomile, the avocado, let's see, I would say the licorice root, Magnolia, and Meadowsweet. Those contain compounds that relax the nervous system. They don't put you to sleep. They're not sedatives, but they just calm the stress. They just put your body in a nice homeostatic, kind of condition. And so we put the relax on top of that, and the whole system is just ready to relax and go to sleep. So that can be why. I know the chamomile particularly will do that.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're
That
welcome.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. So, well, we can just end it a few minutes early. I appreciate all your participation and of course, Mary Esther for her knowledge. Of course, these are some of our own personal experiences and expertise, and we're never trying to diagnose, attempt to cure, prevent, or treat any diseases. And always ask your medical physician for advice. So thank you all for being here tonight, and you can share the recording. We'll get that out ASAP. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mary Esther, and go grab a book.